Welcome to the GR Rideshare Podcast. Thanks for joining us. First things first, just want to get our little plug in. We do have a patron account, and that is patron.podbean.com/GRRideshare. So a couple of cool things about the patron account is you pledge $1, $5, or $10 a month, and what that does is gives us a little bit of revenue for equipment and bandwidth, and just to keep the great entertainment going. Just real quick, level 1, $1 or more per month gets you early release to all our videos and podcasts and a thank you email. Level 2 gives you a handwritten note, and that's $5 or more per month. A handwritten note from us, a digital shout out on the show, and a private closed Facebook group with us. Level 3 is $10 or more, a live shout out on our podcast or YouTube video, your choice. Be on a podcast with us via, Skype or actually in our studio, which we don't have. It's in my basement. And a phone call for us. We can give you rideshare advice or anything you want to talk about. So that's a $10 per month. So, it's something just to help us out. If you really enjoy the podcast, we would really appreciate it. Our social media links are Facebook is GR Rideshare, and Twitter is GR Rideshare. And then, of course, YouTube is GR Rideshare Adventures. We appreciate it. Today on the podcast, we had Centearious, and she is amazing. She is a Uber driver only, and just started full-time about December of just 17, so just the last couple of months. Has been a driver for about a year and a half. So it was a good podcast about talking about being a driver and being a female, and what problems can come up with that. Real great. She has a great positive attitude and was fun to talk to. So enjoy. I just have a couple of, we're going to do some questions. First, what we try to do is do a recap of the weekend. So I was on vacation, and it was supposed to be Winter Beer Fest.
It was.
Yeah.
And I was bummed. And our other friend, he doesn't post much on Facebook. His name's Jesper. He's Danish. But he was on vacation too. So then when we found out it got postponed to this weekend, we're like, yeah, we're both home. So super excited for that. But do you normally work? I should introduce you again. What's your name? See, I forget every time the introduction. Go ahead.
Centearious.
I'm glad I got that right too, because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, okay. And how long you been a driver?
Full-time since December.
Full-time since December. Okay. And driver rating?
4.94.
Whoa!
And I have 221 5-star.
Okay. Wow. Do you drive for Lyft too?
Nope. I signed up for Lyft, but I never did. A lot of people just was talking about it's just it's too far to go get people sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not worth the ride.
I don't think it's worth it during the day. Do you normally drive during the day or at night?
Both.
Both, okay. So you do weekend driving like bar times?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was going to say is from 9p to 3, I think Lyft is fine. But during the day, sometimes you'd be driving 20 minutes. Well, even sometimes at night, you'd be sitting at the airport and you get a ride from Allendale.
Yeah.
Or Raleigh. Yeah. So 4.94. Wow. And how many total rides, or don't you know?
I have 500 and I think 30.
Okay. Wow. Cool. So we both drive for both. Ben just recently left.
Yep.
Ben's a veteran. How many rides you got?
I'm looking. I have. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Drum roll.
I have 508.
Ah.
But that is my rating.
Nice.
I'm at a 4.85, and I have done a total of
6 rides.
2,268 rides.
And then probably 200 with Lyft, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not even. I haven't met my bonus yet.
Oh, I thought you hit it.
So I'm still working towards the 125 on Lyft.
Okay.
But I just see that my app updated. I've been a driver for 3 years.
Wow. So you're just full time since December,
Right, but my
like 2017, right? Like
right. But my profile says 1.5 years because remember I originally signed it up in
Right.
2016.
And you were just
yeah.
part time.
Mhm.
Okay. So, is your goal to do? I mean, are you going to continue the full time thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I bring home over 1,000 a week.
Yeah. That's quite a bit.
That's if I do every single day. And I told you my quota is 150 a day.
Okay.
So I try.
So, do you have a weekly though? So, meaning like if you hit your weekly on Saturday at 2, do you just drop out and take the rest of the weekend off, or?
I just go by days.
Oh,
I don't
ya?
do a weekly. So
Okay.
if I do take a day off, that'll still give me close to 1,000. So
Wow. That's
It's
awesome.
incredible.
That is good. So recap from the weekend. Did you work bar times?
I kind of had it with them a little bit. So on Saturday I did, but I came in around 12:30. So I didn't do like the after, but I was taking people home.
Yeah. Yeah, we got one of our buddies that does the same thing. He doesn't like to do the midnight to 2. So he'll work midnight till 12:30 and be like, I'm good.
I kind of got a secret with that though.
Yeah.
So I don't like getting trapped down there. Like at all, because
Downtown?
those little short rides, especially when it's cold, they like to bar hop, and I don't like it.
Well, what time of the night don't you like to get trapped?
I literally will work 10 to like 3 in the morning.
Okay.
But what I do is I stay out. So even if I have to take somebody in, I'll turn off the stop request and I'll come back out because I don't like getting trapped down there.
Okay.
Yep.
So I actually use that strategy until midnight. And then I stay downtown because people are going home. I do the same thing. I bring someone downtown, turn the app off, and then go to the burbs, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's east, west, north, south. We won't give that away where we go. We won't give too much away. But okay. What about you? Did you work this weekend?
I did. Yeah, I had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it was about $225 for one night on Lyft.
Did you? Oh, so you didn't go out Friday, right?
Nope, just Saturday.
Just Saturday.
So I did $225 on Lyft. I was getting to like 2:00, and bars are starting to close. I'm debating: do I just want to go back downtown? I've already made $225. It's more than I need.
Dude, yeah.
I went for it. So I turned Lyft off, actually, and I put Uber XL on, and ended up catching a $40 ride to
Nice.
end of the night.
Yeah.
And that was the fun ride. I still have to upload the video, but
Yeah,
It
you
was
were
a good
supposed
ride.
to do that.
I know.
So do you know about our little GR ride share? Do you?
I have been watching some of those videos. I have.
Okay, I just curious because the only people that we've had on are people that know about are not in the GR ride share, but are like our friend circle. So I was just curious if you do you have a dash cam?
I have one. I want a dual one though, because I have one where I have to turn it.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
either
yeah.
or.
Yeah.
But when I watch you guys, and you have the dual ones.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find the right dual one to get.
I mean, depending on your budget, you can get them as low as $150 for that one, which I mean, for the quality, 100. I mean, we paid $200, but we've seen it for $150, and it's, I mean, for the quality you get. I mean, it's not wireless or anything. I mean, you can't like get it to your phone, so you do have to connect it to your computer.
Mhm.
But it's good peace of mind, I think, and of course we're having some fun with it too. So being creative. So you had good money this weekend, and then
Oh, yeah.
what was your crazy? Was it guys trying to wrong drive or wrong?
So there was a ping, and it put me at the apartments across the street from the Bob. So
Oh, the plaza.
yeah, Plaza Apartments.
Oh,
But it was in the back. Like there's a little driveway at Fulton and Market right there. So I'm in the back behind the building in this little parking area, waiting. There's a group of people in there, but nobody's moving. So I'm just sitting there waiting, looking at my phone, checking Facebook, whatever.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, this girl just comes in and gets in my car, and she's like, "Hey," I'm like,
Hey,
"How's it going? Are you so and so?" And she's like, "No, but I need a ride." I was like, well, that's not really how this works. And she said, well, how long have you been waiting for your passenger? And I said, that's irrelevant. You're not my passenger. I need you to get out of my car. So finally, she grabbed her random Meyer bag that she was carrying and huffed and puffed and got out of my car.
Wow.
And then my phone rang, and it was the actual passenger. He was underneath the pedestrian bridge, and he had a whole crew of like 8 people. And of course, they all tried to fit in my car.
Okay.
So I said, can only do 6. 6 is the limit.
Yeah.
So 2 of them hopped out. They didn't have a cell phone or anything, so they couldn't get a ride. And then the girlfriend of one of the boys is like in the front seat having a freak out moment. Like, how are they going to get home? And he doesn't have a phone. He's so drunk. What are we going to do? So I ended up dropping off their party, and then took the girl and then the girlfriend of the other boy that got out. And we went back the way we came looking for them because we thought maybe they were walking home.
Did you keep the app on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's why it ended up being a $40 ride.
Okay.
Because I essentially did the ride
twice
with Surge.
All right.
Well,
Well,
they were willing to pay. And then what's even crazier is you would think that they would be frustrated with the driver who didn't let them all fit in the car. And she was for a while. Like, she was having an anxiety panic attack. So after we circled around and did the trip a second time, she was like, don't worry, I'm going to tip you. You really helped us out tonight. It was like, she did. Like a $13 tip.
The 40 was 40 plus 13, or?
It was the total with the tip.
Okay.
So.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a nice way to end the night. I was just going to go home, but I decided, no, I'll do one XL ride, and it paid off.
Well, if I'm close to home and it's like 2 o'clock, I'm like, peace out.
Over it.
So we got Beer Fest this weekend. Have you ever driven a Beer Fest?
No.
Oh, man, you are in for some fun times.
Oh, those people downtown, my God.
Well, so what is really nice is the first year, or maybe not the first year, but not last year, but the year before, it was a S show. Like, cancellation after cancellation because the pickup, the organization was just terrible. Last year, it was beautiful. I mean, you pull in the ballpark, they have this long line, and there's like 30 cars right next to the Beer Fest, and you just wait in line and you slowly creep forward. So in that time, you're trying to call your passenger or whatever, but it went much better. I didn't have any trouble, and I made $600. Yeah.
It's a good night.
It's like better than New Year's Eve.
And I didn't come out for New Year's. I was so mad.
You didn't? I had pretty good. I had a better New Year's this year than last year. And I didn't even stay out that late. I just made decent money and I went home. So that's Friday 5 to 9 and then Saturday noon to 5.
Yes.
And Jesper said something about some mug club hours. That's like an hour before.
Oh,
so
yeah,
basically
right.
11 to 5 or 11 to 5 on Saturday and 4 to 9 on Friday.
So it's not even like late.
No.
Mm-mm.
But it keep on keeping on.
Yeah, they
After
will
that.
go downtown after that.
But you will get you will get drunks. But they're usually, I never had a problem. They've usually been cool. But the problem is you don't realize you're trying all these samples. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa. But should be good.
I seen in the group that is it designated spots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been to the Fifth Third ballpark before?
Yes.
The baseball?
Yes.
So the only way by AJ's, you come in
Mhm.
and normally there's a lot like you make a right and there's a big lot right there. That's where it is. And so you just make an immediate left and just get in line.
Really?
Yeah. And they gave a big lane so that you can pull out when you get your passenger too, so you're not pinned in.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend getting super close to the guy in front of you just in case
Yeah.
someone pins you in the back. But everyone seemed to be I didn't have really trouble at all.
The only trouble I had was with party buses. The party buses, they just tend to clog up the line and they sit. And then it's hard to get around them because you can't see around them.
For some reason, I don't remember that. I thought they had their own little lane on the other side. Like it was party buses and then a middle traffic lane and then Uber drivers. But maybe.
I think there were a few Rebel party bus drivers that
Okay.
didn't follow the rules,
Okay.
and they were pulling up in the Uber lane.
All right.
That was ridiculous.
Well, it's better than what it was.
Yes,
So-
absolutely. First year was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was.
It was horrible.
Yeah, the pickup was over by where the ticket is. So if you drive all the way around the stadium, that's
Yeah.
where it was. But the beer fest was way over where it is now. So the people had to walk. Of course, they're in the bag, 3 sheets to the wind, and you're trying to tell them where to go.
Yeah.
Some have never been to the ballpark. Like, I've been there a bunch, but I know where the ticket place is, but they're like, what? So you end up getting like cancellation. But you don't really want to do the cancellation thing because, you know, it was 6.0 surges.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want my stupid cancellation. I want to take this ride. But
Yep.
so, and you don't take a ton out of there. I mean, maybe 5 or 6. You know, because by the time you get back and all that,
And they're usually pretty long rides
yeah,
because it's not like anything is close by. I mean, it's Comstock Park.
some hotel ones,
Yeah.
but I recommend, like I said, turning the app off. Don't turn it on until you get maybe to Ann Street.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I did. So
Okay.
but and then we got Griffin's and the Home and Garden Show, which isn't really gonna
Yeah.
generate.
Don't think that's
much.
going to be a lot of Uber traffic.
Did you drive during the Blake Shelton concert? I didn't. It was during the week, so
Yes.
okay. I
Yes.
heard it
and
was a good night.
It was, but I wasn't out that late, so I was kind of taking people to it, but I didn't pick them up.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, country stars bring Uber money.
It's crazy.
What was it? Garth and Trisha Yearwood.
That was incredible.
That was a weekend of
It
just
was
cash.
crazy.
It was
Yeah.
a $600 weekend. I don't know. You bring a rock band down there, nothing. Maybe they all drink and drive. I don't know. But in the country, they're like, nope, we're not
Ubers.
driving.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll go. I just want to, I really appreciate you coming. It's super cool to get a female's perspective.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, let's face it, it's a male-dominated job.
You know, I had a passenger. I was picking him up from the Myers on Alpine.
Okay.
And Walmart, sorry. And I was taking him way out to Allendale.
Wow.
And she said I was her first female Uber driver. And I was like, well, how often do you take Uber? And she was just like, oh, all the time. I'm like, you've never had a female driver? And they always ask me, especially females, like, you know, are you ever nervous? Are you ever scared?
Of course, that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah, and you know, no, I've never felt uncomfortable. The other night I had an incident where I almost had to put somebody out, but I didn't feel threatened or scared.
Yeah.
And I keep pepper spray
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
right on
Good
my
call.
door.
Just remember, if you spray that in the car, it's going to be bad for you, too.
Oh, I'm gonna get out.
I'm just saying. It takes about 3 seconds for that stuff to... They actually have different one now where it's more of a... think of it as like a silly string shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Like a bean instead of the
Mhm.
mist like that. So it's more direct, I guess. So it's not like floating around. But yeah, another thing, I mean, you are African American. Do you ever get any races? I mean, let's face it, this is a honky town. I mean,
I had one. It was a lady and a guy. The lady was in the front, guy was in the back,
right.
and they had a stop and then a drop off. So they were going to 2 different places.
Uh-huh.
But as soon as they got in the car, they were like, "Are you hungry?" No, I'm not hungry.
They said that to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they wanted me to take them to Coney. So I was like, well, you need to change your destination, you know, so I can take you to Coney.
Yeah.
She was just like, well, are you hungry? Do you want something? I'm like, no. And she was like, okay, so we're going to go to Coney. We're going to eat. You going to wait for us? Absolutely not.
Well, of course
Oh,
not.
what?
Absolutely. Are you serious? And
Yeah.
she was like dead serious, right?
What? Will you wait for me?
So this is where it came in at. So he's in the back seat and he starts talking to her like I'm not in the car. Like
Oh.
he's not in my car. He was like, I don't know why you're asking her and all of this stuff. And I'm just waiting. Like I'm like, say something.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even move yet.
Okay.
Like this whole conversation was happening before I even moved.
Right.
And he was just like, she's a stranger and this and that. We don't want her to go eat with us. And I looked at her because she was the account. I was like, yeah, you need to get him.
I'd have been like, yeah, I want to go eat.
Let's
I'm going to
go.
make this super awkward.
So she was just like, no, we're just going to go home. But what else was awkward, and I thought he was going to act up, was I dropped her off first. She was a stop.
Ooh.
But they were only around the corner from each other.
Okay.
And he didn't give me any trouble.
That's good.
But I thought he was about to act up. And
Right.
I thought I was going to have to say something to him. Because I say really professional, but listen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man.
So never had any, that was it? Like you thought they were being racist? But
I thought he was about to go there. Because
Okay.
he was talking like I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the way he was kind of referring to me, I felt like it was about to come. And I was ready for it.
Okay.
But other than that, no. I had a couple, and I was kind of mad about this ride because it was my last ride. It was an airport, and older couple, and they had a long day. It was bad. It was foggy out,
Okay.
and it was like 1 a.m.
Ooh.
and it didn't tell me it was a long trip. So mad.
Oh.
So when I get there, then he was like, "Oh, thank you. I've had a long delays. This, and this."
Yeah.
Put their luggage in. They got in. I hit that thing. It said 57 minutes. I was like, listen.
Oh.
And I didn't do that. But in my mind, I'm like, where are you going? Muskegon Airport. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. Older white people, you got to watch out for. Because either they're super nice or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, completely agree.
And they were really, old. And she was really nice. She sat in the front. He sat in the back. And I didn't get anything from them, but he kind of was very stern and all of that. But she was nice and pleasant.
Okay.
So
that actually makes me feel really good because, I don't feel like there's that tension in this town, but it is pretty conservative honkies. I mean,
everybody's been really, really nice, and
That's
I've been
good.
really surprised, no matter what their race was. And I've even the older, like I said, older white people, I haven't had any issues with.
good. Well, you come off super nice. So, and that's half the battle with the Ubering. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have any, like even me, if I'm having a bad day, just having a bad day, and I'll be like, I'm going home. I cannot deal with these people because I'm going to pop off. You know what I mean? And it's going to either make their day bad. It's, I'm going to get dinged for it on the rating. I'm not going to get tipped. I'm like, I'm just going home.
I take that very personal, like my rating.
I do too.
Very
We have
serious.
talked about that in the podcast. Why do we? It doesn't count for anything.
I got a 1,
Yeah, I've gotten a few.
and I got 1 and 2 4s. Everything else is 5s.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. I'm like, who gave me a 1?
Right?
And I did a lot of research on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of people may forget who you are.
Yeah.
And they may rate you 1 and you're not even the right Uber. It could have been a different Uber, but
Yeah,
you don't
that's
know
a
the
good point.
difference. So I'm going to chop that up as that because I know my service is A1.
Right.
But it's all in the presentation.
For sure.
Me, as a female, people love my car. So I have a seat cup like organizer. I have lotion.
Oh, look
and
at you.
Hand sanitizer and Kleenex and waters. And that's all in my, that.
Wow.
I have blue lights underneath my seats.
Awesome.
I have a light up blue Uber sign. I have my name on the door on both sides with the Uber.
Okay.
My car is really clean. I have candy, like a candy dish and everything in there. My car smells heavenly.
Awesome. What's your
And,
secret?
I just keep it clean. I clean it every day. My car is washed every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just what it is. And I just bring, even if I'm not feeling it, hi, good morning. How are you doing today? And,
Yeah.
you can fill them out if they want to talk. And all that.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I just keep it pleasant. Like, do you need anything? Do you have any music preferences? I have a charger for them. I mean, I have everything.
Man, you are
That's
a lot
awesome.
nicer than me.
I got an Uber
No
sign
kidding.
that asks them to put their seatbelt on, that I have a charger if they need anything, like all of that.
Wow.
I have everything. So I think it's all in the presentation too, because
Yeah.
even if they're not feeling me, I gave them a great ride.
Exactly.
Good. Yeah, I appreciate all that work you put into because, I've taken Lyft, my wife and I, and we've had some terrible drivers, like dirty, smoky. I'm just like, even just normally like driving around, why would you want to drive? I mean, I get that you smoke, but I guess it's just the care of your not respect, but like pride in your job. That's the word.
This is your business.
Right.
And I get people in the car and they told me, one passenger told me, she was like, wow, your car is really nice and clean. I'm like, what cars have you been in?
Right. Like all I do is just wipe it down. Like same it's not like I do anything super crazy to make it.
She said it was kids' toys in the back seat. It was a shirt in the back seat of this Uber, and she was just like, they didn't, it didn't seem clean. The outside wasn't clean, all that stuff. Like, why? You can't just switch it on whatever you want without doing something, some kind of preparation.
Some prep work.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe it.
Well, what I find frustrating is when I talk to those people that have had that poor experience, I'm like, did you rate him poor? Well, no. I mean, he's trying. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like in the front going, no, you have to rate them poor. Why would you want him as a driver again? And I just don't understand. People always worry about hurt feelings. I'm like,
first of all, we don't even, especially with all those rides, we don't know which one
not
it
really.
is.
Because you can rate up to a couple days, or I don't know the exact rule on that, but that's interesting. So we've kind of talked about a lot of these questions. You don't drive for Lyft, so what about what about some good experiences? Something that was just like either fun or you got an awesome tip or...
So I put it in the group, but this is how I entered the group. So I was doing Uber Eats, which I do not do anymore.
Smart.
Yeah,
and I
right?
had to get out of that.
Oh, man.
So, 1 month.
I did it one time.
One month. Okay, that was it. But Timothy in our group, don't know his last name.
Burns?
I don't know his last name. He did respond to my post, though.
There's two Timothys. There's a Timothy and a Tim. But anyways.
His name is a Timothy.
Okay.
And I was picking up from Menace Joint. And it was a surge. And once I got there, he called. And he was like, hey. He was just like, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing all right. He was like, well, that is for you. He's like, I'm a fellow Uber driver, and I just thought I would do something nice. And I thought that was the sweetest thing ever because I was kind of having a little rough day.
Yeah.
I had got a ticket that day.
Oh, no.
From Brick and Porter. So
parking?
Oh, my God.
I hear it's terrible over there.
I got 2 tickets, and that's what made me stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he did that, and he was just like, just drive out to where it was. And it was in Walker. That was a $28 ride.
Wow.
Okay.
I even posted a picture of the ride on it.
I do remember something about that. So the food was for you, though?
Yep. He got it for me.
So wait, he ordered and had you drive to the location. Where was it? Just some random spot?
It was like a factory in Walker off of the expressway.
And then just...
He told me to go out there so I can get paid for going out there. Of
really?
Course. Yeah, he was like, don't worry about it. It's for you. I ate it on the way there. I thought that was really sweet.
That's very cool.
And I put it in a group, and I was like, hey, if you're in here, and he seen it, and he was like, you're welcome. And I was like, oh, wow. Because I said thank you, but I was like.
But then you realize like, oh, wow.
That was a $28 ride for me, but the food was $9 too. So he ended up paying all of that. Just to be nice.
Just to make somebody's day.
Random act of kindness.
That is so cool.
I will be doing that.
That's cool.
Pay it forward.
Really cool. Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. And especially that he was in that group. You know, that group has got, like 600 people in it. There's way more drivers than that. You know what I mean? So to be able to connect like that was pretty cool. And speaking of that, my wife said that one of her, some nurse, something, I don't know, some title, but got in a bad accident last weekend in an Uber car. Like she broke like 9 ribs in her hip and everything. I'm like, well, they clearly aren't in our group because I didn't hear anything about it. But yeah, it wasn't the Uber driver's fault. They got like T-boned, but and the driver was fine. But yeah, they got pretty messed up as far as that goes. But
that's like one of my worst fears.
Yeah,
I worked with someone. I don't know if he still works in Teleperformance, but he was an Uber driver part time. Mm-hmm. And his car got totaled while he had a passenger. Oh, and that was last year.
Okay. You know, the rideshare guy, I don't know if you know him. He has a podcast and he posts a lot. He always has videos on what to do in an accident. I've never watched them, and I probably should because I've heard some nightmares about trying to get money out of Uber and Lyft. I mean, it's $1,000 deductible for one, which is pretty hefty. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the coverage on your insurance, you're screwed.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, I don't know. Do you have a rideshare?
So I switched from Progressive to State Farm, and I told them up front I'm an Uber driver. So they put the endorsement on me.
Okay.
I gotta stop in there anyway because I want to make sure that it's covered. But they do know that I'm Ubering, and I do have that endorsement. Because
it started with farmers, and they were the only ones that did it in Michigan, and clearly it's catching on quick that they're adding, because it was super cheap. It was like $100 extra a year or something.
Yeah.
Something, but
Definitely
it covers
worth
you
it.
that extra. But you should also up your collision, or not collision, but your
Comprehensive
the liability.
Oh,
basically,
yeah.
instead of having it, some people do it super cheap because that's what's the weird thing about it is if you don't have a car loan, you can put PLPD on that thing. Uber doesn't care, and you don't want to do that.
No.
It's worth it. But yeah, I have as soon as Farmers offered that, I switched from my insurance company and I ended up saving money. So
Could you get a quote online, or did you have to go see somebody?
So for Farmers,
Yeah.
he actually is in our group.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's good to know.
the admin allowed him in there.
okay.
And he wasn't, you're like, oh, there's a salesman in there, it's kind of weird, but he was cool about it. He would post every once in a while, and then I would always tag him if someone started talking about insurance.
Yeah.
But there really hasn't been any questions in there lately about insurance. So
No.
I haven't really seen him post, but yeah, he posted in there, and as soon as I found out they were covering, I'm like, switched over, and I think I saved like $50 a month too,
Nice.
with the same coverage plus the rideshare clause.
That's good.
So,
Huh.
do you have one?
I do. I have it through Progressive.
Okay.
It's an endorsement, basically.
Yeah. So they're obviously, everyone's catching on.
Yeah.
So, they're like, oh, we can make a little money, and I don't know.
They needed to, because when I first did it, they were like, oh, you Uber, you probably shouldn't tell me that. I'm like, that we can drop you. Like, I'm like, what?
I'm surprised you told them, because that's the one thing that I was told is don't tell your insurance company.
I just wanted to make sure I was covered. I wasn't going to go with State Farm if they weren't going to cover me. Especially if I'm doing it full time. This is my job.
Yeah.
I drive all the time. I just can't be out there like that.
So how many miles do you I'm sure you track everything. Just curious, because all of us are part-time, and I've been doing it probably almost as long as him. So just weekend warrior, but
I got to get an oil change every month.
every month. That's about. Did you ever meet Kevin? He's still in our group chat.
Yeah. I've met him briefly.
But yeah, he was about an oil change a month. And that's not like 3,000 miles. That's like when your car, like I go by when my car tells me. Do you do every 3,000 or do you just
I have it
5?
set. I have it set at 3, but I have the full synthetic or whatever.
That's
so
what I put in it.
They said it anywhere between 3 and 5.
Okay.
But my car tells me when.
Yeah,
and I just go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, I trust what the car says. It just counts down. And its technology is there for a reason. So
and I just want to make sure my car is running good. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
I don't want to take any chances.
yeah, no, man, you are smart. Like I was in the back of my mind. I was like, I hope she's. You know what I mean? You just don't.
You never know. There's
It
some
just makes,
drivers
like for an awkward because we're really hard on guys that have a crappy or don't. I have a little ding in my car. I get that. That's no big deal. But when bumpers, there's a driver at the airport that had duct tape holding the bumper up.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Isn't there a standard to that?
there is.
There
But
is. But how is Uber going to know?
Well, for the older cars, they have to get an inspection.
I got mine today. Every year.
They told me, because I went to the hub, and because I have a 2014.
Okay.
Because it says in my documents, it says expired or whatever, like I'm missing or something like that.
Yeah.
And I asked him, hey, do I need this? Because I did one for Lyft.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh no, you're fine. Your car's newer. I'm like, but what if somebody's new car is all messed up? You're not even looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got before the inspection was even worse. It was just like, whatever. Like they took a picture of the car, and when Lyft launched here in July, I was there, and they had a ton of people there. So they were doing the inspections really quick. They're like, cool. Yeah. So there wasn't really much to it, but I'm glad they're doing them because it is going to get some people. You get in a new a rideshare car, you don't know what their brakes are. You don't know if they've ever taken care of it. I know because I do it. I know my car, but
yeah.
But my wife, like after that one that I was telling you about, like this, she's like, we're not doing it anymore. I was like, what? She's like, I thought all you guys took care of your car like you do, like all your buddies. I'm like,
So
Nope.
I just got a tune-up. Last week Thursday, I got all my brakes done.
Yeah.
I got my oil changed last week Thursday. That was like the work on the car day.
Okay.
And I just got my car detailed today.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I had the salt stains, but I wanted to
yeah.
make sure it stopped snowing first so I get them salt stains out.
You know,
Like
it's
in the
supposed to
carpet?
snow.
I have an all black interior.
Oh,
So
yeah.
even around my mats, I had like the salt stains.
Yeah.
And I could not get them out. So I just went ahead and got my car detailed.
Nice. Yeah, they do have some tricks because I have a gray interior, but I have stuff on like the plastic going into it, and I can't get it clean. Like I can wipe it up, but it still has like that dinchiness. So I know I should bring mine in.
I just took my mats out of the car completely. I don't
Really?
have any mats.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. I got the rubber.
I do
joints.
too.
Yeah.
So you had no mat?
I have no mats right now.
What color is your inside of your car?
It's tan, isn't it?
No, it's darker.
Is it darker?
It is.
Oh, I
Do you have
thought.
like the salt and stuff in there?
A little bit, but I wipe it up after every night I drive. I just have to.
Oh.
I just get a,
I'm like, park the car.
Look, when I'm done, I'm done.
no. I bought some on Amazon, some cheapos,
Yeah.
and they didn't fit at all. And people would trip on them and pull them up in the back. So I was like, screw it. I'm just not going to even bother with it.
Wow.
So I just took them out. And then every night when I get home, just get a rag, soapy water, and just.
It's so much. It's because I vacuum and clean my car out every single day. So I have a heavy mats.
Oh,
so when
yeah.
I take them heavy mats off and I'm vacuuming, like it's sucking up water. It's just water sitting underneath those mats because
Oh,
all
wow.
the snow and stuff. I'm like,
Really?
that's crazy. So when he said he didn't have any mats, I was like, wow,
Wow.
my floors stay soaked.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
with the snow.
Yeah.
My when I drove my wife's van, I bought WeatherTechs, like nice ones, and they have like little lips on them and everything. But my Pilot came with stock ones, and they're great. What I like about the Pilot ones is you said you kind of live around here, but you know the car wash on 44th Tommy's,
Yes.
right by like across from Cabela's and stuff.
Mhm.
They have a matte cleaner, so if it's thin, you can like put it through. They don't do it in the winter though, which I get. It's outside.
Yeah.
They have to. The pipes would freeze, but it's great. You just put it through. They're like brand new. So.
It kind of sucks because I have a unlimited wash at Mister.
Oh, Mister.
Oh, yeah.
And but the thing is, they don't have a mat thing, so I have to
Yeah.
go to a spray wash and do my mats, and then I go over.
And that's what I do in the winter. They actually have a spray one by Tommy's, but I don't think anyone's taking care of it because like one of the bays only works and it works half the time. So I end up going over to 36 in Burlingame by Walgreens. There's a decent one there, but yeah, and you can go to that Tommy's one. You don't have to. It's free. The vacuums are free. You can pull up and just clean your mats and leave.
Really?
Yeah, you don't. It's free. You don't have to have
There
a
you
plan
go.
there.
That's what's up.
Helping you out. So we talked about feeling unsafe. Talked about like issues being a female driver. You don't have any. I mean,
I had
well, I know you have one issue.
groups
but-
of guys that come in the car. That are
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other night, I think it was Saturday night, and I had a group of guys. The Uber account was in the front seat. 3 bigger guys are in the back, so they barely fit in the back.
Oh, my goodness.
And I mean, he couldn't even close the door. I was like, "What is happening?"
like suck it in.
And I picked them up from off of Eastern, right next to the gas station. Twisted Bull,
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
and they were going far. They were going to Hudsonville.
Oh, my
yeah.
That
goodness.
was a nice ride.
Yeah.
And so we're on our way there. This fool in the back on the right hand side decides he wants to open the door.
No.
Oh, you going down the road?
Yeah, moving. I don't know what he was doing. And I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh," he said something slurred. I'm like, "Absolutely not. I'm going to need you to keep that door closed." Matter of fact, I pulled over and I got out and I walked around and I put the child locks on.
That's amazing.
I had to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess my money up because
Right.
you don't want to keep the door closed.
Right.
And the other people were like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like,
Right.
you know, so everybody else, you know, they had my back and whatnot. But
Right.
I'm like, I can't have you fall out. I don't want that story.
Well, I do, but I don't want you to get hurt.
Right. Like, how do I explain that? Well,
Yeah. Yeah, my car, and you probably could set this up in yours, but when I go in to drive, it locks all the doors.
It
Now
locked the
he-
doors, but he
manually.
unlocked
That's
it.
true. Good point.
So I had to turn the little. I'm like, you are a child. What is
So
wrong with
funny.
you?
Oh man.
I don't think I've had anyone do that, and I will bring it up now because you talked about it earlier, but not on the podcast. No pukers.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I had one. I think I was telling you that he or she, I was picking them up from downtown and they were going to Allendale. So I'm on 196 and I'm between Lane and Lake Michigan. And she said she was feeling sick. She asked me, did I have any bags? My bags didn't come till yesterday. Amazon. So I was like, no. And she was like, I'm like, here, some fresh air. Put the window down. And I was like, I'm about to pull over, not on the expressway, but I'm right at the exit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can you hold it? And she was like, yes. So, and it's her and her boyfriend in the back seat. So I immediately got off on Lake Michigan in that street right there, right. And she got out and she went and did what she had to do. And she was fine for the rest of it. But she was like, you know what? I'm actually really good at holding it. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
But the guy was so cool because he was like it was his girlfriend. And he took his shirt off and he made like a bag with in case she didn't make it to the.
So he's bareback in the.
No, he has no shirt. He took his shirt completely off, and
See, this is why you need a dash cam.
just in case. I know, and just in case. And I was just like, well, and I didn't. I'm trying to drive, and I didn't notice until I turned around. And he's outside cold.
Yeah.
Like
what a
holding
nice
her
guy
hair.
though.
Wow.
Like, he definitely got something that night. So, holding her hair, and she was fine when she got back in, and he put his shirt back on. But I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because the reason I don't want to puke is because I would puke. That's double puke. I can't. I can't even clean up my kids' puke. I can't do it.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you on that. I don't know if I'd puke, but I've had one.
Ooh.
And it was in the wife van. And it was in the back. She passed out in the back seat, and it's way back there, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden I'm like,
What's
and of course,
that?
the person that, I'm sure you experience this, the person that orders the Uber typically sits in the front.
Yep.
Right next to you, like the responsible one.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, well, that's going to cost you $150. She's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And it was like a multi-stop, and she gets out and just covered it. And I was like, yeah. So I ended up going home and cleaning it up, but not like full clean. Like we talked about how you're scrubbing your mats. When I get home, I'm ready for bed.
Right.
And so I cleaned it up the best I could, and then got up the next day and cleaned it up. But
did you have to take pictures and all that and submit it?
yeah, $150. But the thing is, everyone asks, do you take it to a detail shop? I'm like, it's Saturday night. You think I'm just going to let it soak in there for 2 days, and then I got to go to my regular job, so how am I going to get the car there? I'm like, right. I'm cleaning it up, keeping the money.
Right.
So, and what about you? Have you had any?
I've had 2 pukers.
Oh.
Yeah.
With cleaning fees?
With cleaning fees.
Both full amounts?
They were. I was just going to check that, but I'm pretty... yeah. It was awesome. I mean, it's horrible when it happens because you have to clean it up.
That
right.
ends your night, though, right?
It does end your night. But the payout was... I mean, I made $500 basically between 2 pukers, so...
500?
It was $250.
What?
Cleaning
This
fee?
is like back when... In the very
well, I
3
knew it
years
was
ago.
higher.
It was a
used
lot
to be
higher. Yeah,
I didn't know it was 250 though. I thought it was 200. But
I mean, it was 250 for the first one I had.
I believe you.
But yeah, it was bad. The first one was a nightmare. I mean, it was pickup downtown, going to the hotel off of Ann,
The purple
Riverfront,
one. Riverfront,
or whatever they call it now. I don't know.
It is. I think it is Riverfront.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's in the back seat, and it was, of course, not the one who requested the ride. But all of a sudden, I hear the noises.
Oh, see, that would get me.
Yeah,
It's
the
noises
worst.
and the smell. Like, seeing it, I'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to do now? Like, she's puking in the back seat. Do I pull over? Like, what's the protocol here? We haven't even gotten on 131 yet. So I pulled off kind of around Grand Valley downtown campus and just tried to get my bearings and figure out, what am I going to do now? So
Girl, get out of my car.
I just said, are you okay? Do you need to get out and get some air? She's like, no, let's just go. She ended up passing out in the back seat after she threw up. So
Probably laying in it.
yeah. And then we get to the hotel. And wow, the back seat was a disaster. There was a lot of liquid, so I'm tempted to believe that she may have had things coming out both ends of her body.
Oh, dude!
Like, I think she might have wet the seat.
Wet? He said.
I don't know how to
She
say
went
that.
pee-pee?
She peed. I'm pretty sure she peed. It was bad. Like, and it stunk. It was horrible.
Now, do you have leather?
That was in my Honda Civic that was not leather.
Oh.
It was interior was cloth. It was bad.
I think you just light it on fire and walk away.
Just throw the whole car away.
Right.
Yeah.
Peace out.
So, but even after getting it detailed the next day, I still came out ahead. I mean, it sucked and it was horrible cleaning it. My wife actually came out and helped me clean
Whoa.
the car
That was nice.
at 3 a.m.
Ooh, nice wife.
Yeah. So, And then the other puker, it was hardly anything, but she had one of those frozen mixed drinks. I don't even know what they call them. Frozen daiquiri. I don't know.
Gross.
But she puked some of it. She got most of it out of the car, but there were a few spots in the car. So it's like, I'll take a picture and see what Uber says.
Always take a picture.
So I took the picture and sent it in. They gave me, I think, by then they had changed. It wasn't $250, but they gave me the max, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Even for a couple little spots. I
It all
said,
depends who you
okay.
get who approves it. I mean,
But it was within minutes of me sending in the
You got the
report. They
they
replied
must have been slow that night.
within minutes. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2 pukers. That's it.
That's good to know, though, because in the group, a lot of people were saying they were getting kind of shortchanged as far as the amount coming back for them claim.
Yeah, the one, I think it was a soda that got spilled, but I pushed them. I ended up getting more. I mean, if they give you the max, they give you the max.
Yeah.
But I think I had one with Lyft where he dropped a soda, like in my. Of course, he brings it in with no lid on it. I'm like, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Sure as shit, he and like a big old 44 ounce, and so they were gonna give me like 15, and I was like, no way, blah blah,
15?
$15, and then I think I got it up to 25. But I would always push it if I were you. If you ever have to email them, just keep pushing it, pushing it,
Yep.
pushing it. I mean, what do you got to lose? Just an email. So,
Right.
Okay. What common questions? I'm interested to hear your common questions you get asked by riders. I mean, we all have the same. Do you do this full time? Are you married? Do you have kids? Blah, blah, blah.
People want to know, can they request me?
Okay.
I get that a whole
Well, yeah, you
lot.
got a kicking car.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like
amazing.
a party
and,
car.
and just a service. And then like somebody had posted in the group about music, and I responded to what my music is. I said I have 3 things that I play. I play R&B for Black people. I just assumed that they're gonna
I
have
have a funny
R&B,
story about music.
and I don't play rap. But I do have an aux cord in case they want to do whatever they're doing. And then easy listening for older people, right on the Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
And then today's hits for younger people and stuff like that. And it just sounds like the radio.
Yeah.
And I keep it a nice volume and everything's real cool. I try to make sure they're really comfortable, and I promise you, they were like, so I'm going to Detroit soon, and I'll be like, you want me to take you guys on trips? Like, people ask me all the time, hey, I'm gonna go out of town. Somebody asked me, could I drive them to Ohio? I'm
Well,
like, if
why?
you pay me, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome.
The farthest I went was Midland, so
Midland.
But-
Oh, man.
What is that like? Well, that's
2
on
hours
the.
and 22
Yeah,
minutes.
it's on the
Over
east
by
side.
the thumb.
That has
Oh.
nothing to do with nothing. You
Right.
get off on 131 and 125, and it's nothing but roads that are 45 and 55 miles an hour.
Yes.
I seen an Amish person. I thought it was fake. I was like, he was like, oh, we get those. They're all over the place. I'm like, it's a real one. What's happening? But
Is
yeah,
this real life?
I'm probably, yeah. I'm like, what is happening?
That's
It's
so
cold
funny.
outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the common one. I do have a regular that I go get when he
That's
takes it
awesome.
to work and to get home. So I just park in front of his house. And sometimes I get him on the first try. I might have to cancel one.
Yeah.
But typically I get him either on the first or second try.
So he sits in there and then just
He's
requests
right.
it?
No, he's right in the house.
Oh.
I'm like, I won't turn it on until I get there, and then
Yeah.
I won't even do that. I'm like, are you ready? And he'll say, turn it on. I turn it on, and he'll request it. So he's my regular.
Yeah.
he really wanted me to take him to work.
No, there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as you do it on the app.
Yep, I did. I was always on the app.
Yep.
Yeah, when last winter I drove a lot more. I had limited hours at my other job, and I had a couple regulars. I just told them it would be done in springtime, but there's nothing wrong with that. Regular income.
Yeah.
So you get asked if do you get those common questions that we get though? Like, are you married? Do you have kids?
Yeah, we have conversations. It just really depends. Like, for instance, I try to make it so it pertains to them. So I was dropping somebody off at AMC, which is my favorite theater. I'm a movie fanatic. Like, I love movies. So I was like, hey, you work in my favorite place. And it opened the window to movies, and we talked about different stuff. So, like I said, I try to fill people out and try to, and they ask me, about Uber stories. They ask me, women typically ask me, do I feel safe?
Right.
Has anything ever happened? I get that a lot. And then I'm always trying to get people to drive Uber. So
nice.
I always, tell people, like, no, I'm fine. And, or what have you. But those are typical questions. Some people will ask, especially longer trips, like that 2-hour and 22-minute trip.
Goodness.
Oh, and that Midland trip is when the whole thing went down.
What whole thing?
You remember when the app went down, the driver app?
Oh, really?
I'm an hour in. I get off.
No.
I literally get off the expressway, and it was like rerouting. I'm like, what is happening? So I went off, and I couldn't get back in. And I was like, shut your face. And this is where I say I love the group. Because for some reason on the internet, I could not find customer service for Uber. And you can't get back in the app, so I couldn't hit the little phone thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I found some number. It was not the number. And I'm like, what is happening? And then someone was like, look in the group. And somebody was like, it's down. And I was like, oh, thank you. But my passenger, I'm like, what does yours say? It says it's still en route. Well, we're going to keep it going then.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
What do? You just can't stop it.
I had to use regular GPS.
Yeah.
And then I tried it. I was about by Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
Is back when it came back on.
Okay.
Oh, man.
And I just happened to try it, and it was back exactly where it was, back in my ride, whole nine. So I was like...
It's pretty stressful, though.
As a newer driver, I'm like, am I going to get paid?
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
This is my job. Am I going to get paid?
Mid-trip?
Yeah.
In an hour, a 2-hour trip? No way.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Did they end up reward? Because I saw some people. Didn't they give some rewards for going down or I'm sorry?
They
money?
did. Yeah. I remember that.
I don't know anyone that got it.
Ooh, I was mid-ride.
Right.
That ride was not worth it, by the way.
It never is. Let's face it. Those long rides aren't, unless you get tipped well at the end. I mean, I don't mind doing them because it's kind of a little adventure, but.
He gave me, so I got $80.99 for the ride after Uber, but he gave me a $20 tip.
Okay.
That's all right.
So it ended up being okay, but I was out for 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great. You made $50 an hour, right? With your tip, but then you got the dead head
all the way back.
So when you didn't make $50.
So it kind of brought it down to about $22-23 an hour.
Which
and I
isn't
can't
terrible.
even be mad, but at the same time, I saw somebody posting there about going to Chicago, which is around the same. I'm from Chicago, so it's around the same
about
distance.
2.5 hours.
Theirs was after Uber took theirs out was still like 142.
That's
They
strange.
actually posted the picture
Was
in
it
the
a
group.
surge though for the Chicago one?
I don't know, but
Is
still,
that-
Yeah.
for 2 hours though, like 2.5 hours, I would think it would be higher than 80.
No
90.
kidding.
And that's why a lot of people don't take those because they feel. I mean, if you think about it, if you make $23 an hour, that's still about what you're going to make in town. You just feel like you should get paid more because it's you using. I mean, maybe you're using more gas. Probably not. You're probably using less gas
Yeah.
I
because
used a half a tank
you're highway driving, so you
Yeah.
get better gas mileage. But
Or driving the back roads 40 to 50 mile an hour.
yeah, that too.
So I mean, I couldn't complain about it, but if he didn't tip me, it didn't seem like it would be worth
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I'm under the. I'll go to Kalamazoo without this conversation, but if it's any further, I'll be like, if you're not willing to throw some extra cash my way, I'm just not going to take the trip.
My Kalamazoo was $49.
Well, that's good because it's normally that's like a $35 or $38 ride.
That Muskegon one was only $37.
Yeah, but I want to go back to your music thing because I have a funny story. We were in We were in Detroit and taking Lyft, and what so the guy's like, asks what kind of music. We're like, oh, I don't care. And so he kind of goes through a few stations and then settles on one. What station would you settle on for me if you like saw me and like
Easy listening.
Really? He chose country.
See, you would have to tell me country.
No, wait. I did have a flannel shirt on, like not like a hillbilly, but it was like it's a nice flannel shirt, but it did have like the plaid pattern or whatever. But he chose country, and I'm like, that's actually the music I don't listen to. I listen to rock and rap and all that other stuff. But I just thought it was funny how I got typed or whatever they call it. Like, oh, he's probably a hillbilly because he's white with a big beard and a flannel shirt.
And that's exactly why I don't have a country one.
Yeah, I don't either. I do. I have Sirius Satellite, so I do Pop 2K, which is like kind of the age that people are. That are using Uber right now, like 20s to 30s. So they're like, oh, I love this song or whatever. But that's either that or just the hits channel.
I do Pop Rocks on XM radio.
What's that one?
It's a new station. They mix like 90s songs with new songs.
Okay.
And it's a good mix.
When you say mix it, like...
Well, they play a little bit of both.
Okay, they play both songs. I thought you meant like they actually mixed it. Like,
no.
I'm like, all right.
No, not so much.
Okay.
But no, they'll have like, oh man, I don't know. Like new stuff by like Mumford and Sons or, bands like that. But then they mix it alongside old school hits from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Hootie and the Blowfish, all that good stuff.
Yeah, my channels are hits. Octane, which is kind of like heavy metal, and then Turbo, which is like not heavy. I shouldn't say heavy metal, like heavy rock, not like scream metal. I can't stand that. But then like Turbo, that's the same kind of music, but back when I was growing up, like 90s and 2000. And then Pop 2K, and then I have a 90s channel that plays a lot of that old
90s
school.
on 9?
Well, yeah, but it's like that, but it's the 90s rap, like MC Hammer. Like, I'm 41, so like
I used to have MC Hammer pants.
Who did?
They were amazing.
Oh, love MC Hammer or Young MC or all that old school rap. And then I have a Lithium channel, which is kind of like 90s alternative and grunge,
So I have a question.
Yes.
So I have a channel too that is like a 90s kind of hip hop. I do the Missy Elliott one, so it does everything.
Yeah.
On her channel, but I have it in my phone to have it not have explicit stuff.
Right.
So on those 3 that I told you that I do, it's they're fine.
Yeah.
But Missy's one, I was like, whoa, hey now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just a feature in the settings.
It was. I have it on there, and I kid you not, on her station is. Yeah, I'm like, oh no, I can't have that.
No, that's not good.
Huh.
I mean, hard cuss words too. They're not trying to bleep out nothing. It's the original song.
Well, Missy Elliott, she's badass.
But even it could have been, I don't know, like Outkast or something. Like anything that could have came on. I'm
That's
like,
weird.
What is happening? Now, I barely ever I can't play her.
Huh.
And I would love to, have some bounce kind of music in there. I can't have her channel. That's
weird.
Bummed.
I would email Pandora and say, what's going on? I have it set for non-explicit and yeah, some of the serious channels like the rock channel, they don't bleep, but the Pop 2K, they do they bleep it during the day, but as the night goes on, they let it's so weird, they'll let like bitch or shit slip or whatever, but during the day they don't. 90s channel doesn't either, but you kind of know what you're getting into, but it's interesting. I would email Pandora because that seems kind of odd. So you have any questions for her? I always like try to be the ringleader over here, but I mean, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Do you have any questions for us?
I do.
All right,
fire away. I need to think of some questions.
That's like saved.
Yeah.
So I kind of told you how my car is set up.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference by me being a female in the stuff that I have in my car?
I think
what do you mean?
Like I have a candy dish and I have lotion and sanitizer.
Lotion and Kleenex. I would never think to do that. I mean my wife probably would, but as a male driver, it's the last thing on my mind.
But as a female, I mean, this is sexist, but females kind of want to be pampered, right? So maybe that's why you took that route. I don't know. I would never put that stuff in there.
These people are walking around with the plague. I'm gonna have hand sanitizer in my car.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they
Good call.
don't get sicker.
But I keep it like that, and like I said, it's right in my organizer, so it's not in the way.
Yeah.
But I keep it like that because you have people going to work. You got
Yeah.
people going places, and I don't know about you, and a lot of people get ashy. So I can put lotion on and then walk out and look ashy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Sure.
So, and even like you're going to work or an interview or wherever you're going, I have mints. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
in case, freshen your breath up and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So I just kind of think about what I would want if I was in an Uber.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, because I said all of that stuff. I mean, I got lights and all kind of stuff in there, but I just wondered if do you think that's different because I'm a female?
No, I think it's different regardless of female or male. I know if you follow the national groups, I know a lot of people do that, and they get shit on by other drivers quite a bit. Like, hey, I drive person A to B and this is my rating. Why do you have all that crap? And I'm just like, hey, if they want to do it, who cares?
Yeah, more power to you.
Let them do it. I mean, it's not, I don't have that set up. Like, I don't have anything. I don't have water. I don't have mints. I don't have hand sanitizer. I do have a tablet that runs some software on the back that has some games on it and stuff, which is kind of fun for drunks. It's got like, long story short, there are a couple of companies that run advertising and you get a little bit of pay. And this one was supposed to do it, but I think, originally why I got it is Uber didn't accept tips. So I could get tips on this.
Okay.
I still run it, but I don't have the tip option on there because do it on the app. I mean,
Right.
I don't get, this company took a fee, which is fair. I mean, they're providing service, but Uber and Lyft doesn't.
So how do you have it in there? Are you afraid somebody's going to take it?
No. I mean, it's $100 tablet.
Okay.
No one's ever taken it. I never worry about it.
These people are crazy. I'm sorry.
No, maybe they see my beard and they're scared or whatever, but I've had people in there that I thought might take it, but it's always been there at the end
So
of the
is
night.
it just loose or is it in something?
It is in something, but it's not locked. It's on the back of the headrest.
Okay.
So you just kind of pop it in there and I just charge it up. I used to have a cord, but it was getting hit and broke, like the charger.
Mhm.
So now I just charge it full, and if it dies, it dies. Like, whatever. I'm not going to plug it in and deal with that. But
That's really cool. I was sitting alongside another, I don't know if he was Lyft or Uber, but I could tell he was getting somebody. And he had his iPad as the thing. Like the GPS, I could see him going to pick somebody up.
Yeah.
And I can see it was turned towards him. So I'm looking, I was like, how he get that on the iPad?
yeah, I have a tablet that I run it on.
You can run the driver app on it, but it's got to be connected to the phone, right?
I have LTE on it.
Oh, okay.
So I'll try not to make too long of a story, but have you heard of Maestro? Okay. So Maestro is an app that you can run Uber and Lyft on, and it turns it off for you, and accepts the rides for you. So you're not touching the phone at all.
Oh.
Like, you set certain parameters and you're like, this is the rating I want to take. This is the amount of surge. This is the distance I want to drive. And if it doesn't fall into those parameters, it declines it for you or accepts it for you. Now, it is buggy. I did end up buying it. It's a year subscription. And of course,
Are you
it worked
regretting
fine
that?
for a month. Huh?
Are you regretting that?
I am a little bit. It worked fine for a month, and then of course I paid the $99, and then I started having issues with it. So they are working on it, but basically you can't run it on. I have an iPhone, but you can't run it on iOS. It's only an Android. So where I work, we use tablets. So I borrowed one of their tablets, and I pay for the extra data at my job because I end up using more. So he's like, "Yeah, I don't care. Take the tablet, put it on our bill. You're going to pay it anyways." So I've been running a tablet. Now I will say it is slower than my phone as far as just regular switching of apps. Like, I can't use Maestro on my phone, but I obviously run both. But just doing things, the tablet seems slower.
Okay.
It is a cheaper tablet. I mean, it's not like your top of the line Android. It's like a Galaxy Tab E. I mean, it's not terrible, but I only paid $100 for it. But it is nice having the GPS bigger. So you can run that stuff on iPads if you want to do it.
Speaking of GPS, so I told you I watch a lot of YouTube videos, right? The guy that I follow, he's from Atlanta, and he says, was it Waze?
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay, so no. Okay, so all right. So I was like, I'm going to try it today.
Okay.
Right. So I had to set up, first of all, I don't like that it leaves the app. I don't like that. I don't like that I have to open up Waze. Like, I don't like that. I don't like it. So, because I can't even see the details of I have to switch back and forth if I wanted to see any details on the ride, right?
Oh, yeah.
True.
So I was like, okay. And then when I got in it, because I don't use Waze, like, at all, I was like, I don't like this. And I got stuck because I kept getting rides back to back and I couldn't switch it off.
Oh.
And I don't know. Why do you guys like it?
I like Waze. Well, I don't use Waze for rideshare driving. I've used it for work mainly. Mm-hmm. And I like it for my job because I'm in sales. I do a ton of driving. I don't want to waste my time sitting in traffic. So Waze has really good algorithm that's updated by other Waze users.
Yeah.
And it updates the traffic patterns. So if there's a more efficient route around traffic, Waze will put me on that. So I use it for that. But for rideshare, I feel I tried it with Uber and it just didn't work. I hated it.
I don't understand the trouble. I mean, I can see not being able to be in the app, but you shouldn't be touching your phone while you're driving anyways. So what does it matter?
Every now and then I touch it just kind of see what's going ahead.
I
just stretch it out, but
we all do it.
But to have to go back, I don't know. I was like, well, maybe I need to, get used to it. And I had 4 rides in a row.
Well, I would recommend using any GPS while you're working, just so you can get comfortable with it. And not that it has bugs, but what it does.
It's very different than Google.
It is.
So,
well, it doesn't have satellite maps. It's just, which I don't like the satellite maps when I'm driving. I think it's harder to see. I like the not cartoonish, but it is kind of cartoonish. Just tells me where to go. Yeah, I love it. I'm like a Waze junkie. Like I tell everyone about it.
That's what they were doing on YouTube. Everybody's telling people to use Waze, that it was way better. But for me, I just like the.
Well, here's the thing. We all are comfortable in our own thing. So if you start something and do it a certain way, to change, let's face it. I mean, we all hate change. Uber does something different. We're all losing our mind about it, even though it might be something silly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, don't use it. Now, I've heard the exact opposite. So you use Uber's navigation? Mm-hmm. See, I've heard terrible things.
I love it.
Really? I use the same thing.
Uber and Lyft. I don't even have a GPS app open. I just use whatever the navigation says.
Never had trouble.
I've had
you both went.
I'm not saying I never had trouble, but most often if it's telling me to go a weird way, I ignore it because I know a better way.
Well, Waze does that too. I mean, sometimes they'll want you to go down an alley when clearly you don't need to go down the alley. The house is either right here or here.
Exactly. But it's just so easy. I mean, you start the ride and it goes. That's all I need.
I will agree with you. It is nice.
Follow the blue line. Simple as that.
Yeah. If I could get Google to get rid of the... now, does Lyft have the satellite pictures or is it...
No, it's just...
Like Waze?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Uber, I don't have satellite. It's just standard.
Well, Uber's, yeah. I don't know. I don't really trust Uber. So I'm just like, I'm going to use Waze. That's a Google product that I trust Google. I mean, obviously I use Google for everything, so I must trust them. I don't trust Uber. They're shady.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw a ride the other day, and that's why I said I kind of stretch it at first, kind of see where I'm going, because it was about to have me go out of my way. And I don't like that because I don't want the passengers to think I'm trying to get them.
Absolutely.
Even though we don't really get that much money.
Right.
Yeah.
For that anyway.
That. Yeah.
But that's why I kind of look ahead now because something took me way out the way. And he was cool. But I was like, I'm sorry. It's telling me to go this way. Right. But like Spencer off of Fuller. Mm-hmm. That's a dead end. But the app doesn't know. It had me turn. I'm like.
Yeah. I used to live right over there on Herrick. And every time I would order an Uber or a Lyft, they would pull up on Spencer and wait for me. And I'm like, I'm on Herrick, like
and
a
that
block
happens
down.
with Waze too. Okay. I mean, that's just your house is kind of close to a dead end, and we're just gonna pick a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I say I don't trust Uber, I don't trust that the technology's correct, and I don't want to get screwed as far as. I mean, I know where I'm going pretty much, but we do rely on it. Let's face it.
Do.
And I know drivers that don't. If they know where they're going, they don't use it. I'm like, Oh, hell no. I want my passengers seeing that I'm using the GPS. Just like you said, you don't want people thinking that you're ripping them off.
Now, if I know exactly where they're going, if they're going to like the airport or something like that, I may just take the whatever way to get there. I'm not going out of my way,
Right.
but I wouldn't follow it. It'd just reroute to wherever I'm going.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just based on traffic, I would just in time of day. That's what I would do personally. But I've never had an issue where I would think that they were not following it.
Yeah, that's, it's kind of, we talked about the change thing, that's what someone told me when I was starting. So that's what I did. I just hit go and I just go whatever it says on there. So, see, it's good. It's good to get feedback from different people. So, what do we got? What else we got? We've been going for about an hour. So what we do is we have 2 Uber topics and 2 whatever life topics and just kind of talk about them. The first one is, no, we don't have this around here, but the Uber pool.
Yeah.
They have
Uber bus stop is better way to put it.
Well, yeah, they've added something even more pool like Uber Express, which is even cheaper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you read the stories in the national groups, they're talking about how bad pool is.
I just had a rider.
Yeah.
Just flew in from Boston, and we just had a nice little conversation because her ride was nice, right?
Yeah.
So she told me she pulled it everywhere in Boston, and she was telling me, because I was like, "How does that work? I don't know how that's not here."
Yeah.
Right? And she said, number one, it was cheaper.
Yep.
And then she said one of her rides, she had 2 other people. They kind of going, and she was like, they picked up somebody and all that stuff. I'm like, you was okay with that? She was like, I didn't have anywhere to go. She was like, I wouldn't recommend it if you actually has to be somewhere.
Right.
And then she said she had one where she got a pool and they picked up no one, but she still got the discount. She said she liked it, but I don't think I would like it as a driver.
You're getting paid the same. You realize that? Like,
are you serious?
That's why everyone hates it.
Wow.
So if you're making $4 on that ride, you're making $4. Doesn't matter how many people get in your car.
That's ridiculous.
But aren't you going out of your way to get extra people? I know they're kind of on the way.
Well, they're on the way in their designated stops. So, like, they have to go to a certain point. The passenger does. Mm-hmm. So the driver knows where they are. Like, you're on your route. So it's not like you're picking up the person specific at their house. They have to maybe walk 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, or a block. I don't know
bizarre.
for sure. It's not here, but that's what I've heard. So
It's like they make virtual bus stops.
yeah, pretty much.
Like you stop on the side of the road and people come find you and get in your car. And away you go.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's dumb. It'll never come here because we're too spread out.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. I just think, I mean, why? And I think you can opt out. It's tough with those national groups because you got someone talking from Nevada and you got someone talking from Virginia. But I think you can opt out. And I think that's what Maestro does too. If you can't opt out, Maestro will not let you have to take them.
Yeah, I would definitely give that case.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
definitely
Right.
opt out. There's no way I would do that.
Yep.
I mean, we get paid the same when we do an XL with the same amount of people. But if you're going, stop, pick someone up. Going, stop, pick someone up. Going, stop.
Okay, so I feel a problem coming. When we get a ride, we don't know how many people are with them. How does that work? Do they have to have one person?
They must have to. Yeah, they must have to choose on the app. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Like,
That's
what
a
if
good point.
somebody designated? Like, it's 2 of them. I only got 1 seat. Like, how does that? You know what I mean? They
I don't
have
know.
to be like a solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
That's
a
a good point.
nightmare.
It's like, well, how would you know?
Yeah.
Because we don't know.
Right. I don't know. My guess is that there's an option. I mean, there's Uber car seat in Orlando by Disney World. You can request an Uber with a car seat in it. So there's different stuff all over the place.
Car seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
What's your take on car seats?
So this lady cussed me out. I went to pick her up from Family Fair on Burlingame off of 28th Street.
Yep.
And I pull up and I see the cart and I see the baby. And
Oh,
I look.
yeah.
And I was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, would you happen to have a car seat? And she was like, no. I was like, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you a ride
Yeah.
Bravo.
You need a car seat.
Thank you.
And she was like, well, I got dropped off by Uber. And I was like, unfortunately, that was illegal.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, I'm very sorry. And I know that is late. And I know that it's cold. And I know the last thing, you're just trying to get home. And I understand you got dropped off by Uber. Like, I know this has to be frustrating. I tried to be very empathetic with him.
Yeah,
that's a great, what you said was perfect.
Nailed it.
But, I'm like, unfortunately, honey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm liable and I have kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But I just make sure the way I say it, and she wasn't trying to have it, and I understand the frustration, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're all on the same page. We don't do it. I mean,
clearly we're not. Somebody dropped her off.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what everyone says to us too. Like, I haven't had it in a while because I've been typically driving the bar scene. But when I did drive, like during the week, sometimes I would get that. I'm like, I'm not taking you. Why would I want to?
Yeah.
Like, not
so
just
much
liability,
risk.
but can you imagine what you would feel like
if you got an accident?
If you got an accident and that kid died. Like, even though it's not technically, it's in the law's eyes, it's your responsibility because they're in your car.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not your responsibility. The mom, you know what I mean?
It was your fault. Like,
but you would think about it. You would never live that down. Like you. You till the day you took your last breath, you would think
haunt
about
you.
that. It would haunt you. Yeah. So. And you said the right thing. I mean, I do understand their frustration. They're just trying to get home. I mean, they don't have a car, and it is a pain in the butt. But sorry,
yeah,
I'm not doing it.
I felt bad, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, it's just in the liability. Think about your own family. I mean, they could sue you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they probably would.
I'm a mom.
Yeah,
there's no way that I'm putting my kids in the car without.
Right.
My son is 5 and he still has to have a booster seat. You know what I mean? But still, absolutely not.
So my daughter's 10, and so I guess if your feet can touch the ground, that's a good indication. Hers can. I'm a little loose with it. I'm like, she's fine. She's tall enough, but mom, booster seat. All the way to Florida. Booster seat.
Oh, man.
She's not too happy about it, but like when she goes with friends, we make her take a booster seat. She ain't happy about it.
But you trying to protect her.
I know. She'll
absolutely.
understand when she gets older. The other one, I posted an article on our Facebook page about they're saying that Uber and Lyft is causing tons of congestion. Like it's become where you're thinking that, oh, we're ride sharing, so there's less cars on the road. It's actually causing more congestion. My thought is that I believe it.
Yeah.
I think it's not because our biggest issue that we've talked about is parking, picking up at the Bob, where it's, everyone's getting tickets. And I know it's an S show. Like I won't pick up there anymore. And it's like not just the congestion, but cities are not prepared for all these people out working. Where do you put all the cars?
Exactly.
I mean, people aren't driving down there, but you got drivers down there and, So.
And you have to wonder. One thing I've been thinking about a lot is when we're out at bar close, there's a good number of cars out. I'm wondering, are all of those Uber or are those some people that are driving themselves home?
I have that story.
Yeah.
Bridge Street. I don't know what it is. 446 over there. There's a couple bars right there. I don't know what the name of that bar is. It's right on the corner. And I'm picking up and my rider's not in my car yet. But I'm watching this man. It's a car just like mine, but it's black. And I'm watching him walk, which was terrible because he's wasted.
Right.
And I mean, he's looking at this car like, is it mine? Like he's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm staring him down because you're not getting in this, right? So he does like he took him like a whole minute to get the key.
Well,
like,
yeah, he's seeing triple.
What is happening? And my rider was getting in the car right now, but I'm staring here. I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Hold on." Like, because no, you're not. I got to drive out here, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, "Excuse me, I have to stop him real quick." And he was like, no, I'll go over there with you. So me and my passenger go over there, and I'm like, "Hey, so I will give you a ride home for free if you do not drive.
Yeah.
I don't care nothing about the money. I don't want you to kill somebody or yourself."
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, and my rider was like, 'Sir, no, you're not driving.'"
Yeah.
And I kid you not. So he kind of stepped in front of me I wasn't that close to him, but it was enough. It's a road here. I can't.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, seriously, I will drive you home for free. He was like, you can get in on my ride. You can get in the car now.
Yeah.
And he was getting like upset. He was like, well, I'm not that drunk. You're drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm scared.
Right.
Yeah.
And he pushed my rider out the way and he got in. And I'm like, what do we do? And he took off. And I'm like, what do we do? First of all, even if I call the police, I don't even know where he's going. So,
Right.
like, where do I tell the police to go?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So the next morning, I just got on the news and I was like, I wanted to know if anybody died or if it was some kind of crash because that man fell into the car. He fell in the car.
Yeah.
But he drove instead of, I was going to give him a free ride.
Some people have that. Now, how old do you think he was?
He looked like he was anywhere between 27 and 34.
So not super old. I feel like a lot of older people think, everyone younger now like realizes how bad the drunk driving laws are.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're not risking it. But I've called. I've never intervened that way, but I see him quite a bit while I have passengers, and I might mention it. But I've called if I've been by myself, and you just follow them. So next time you do that, if your passenger is cool with it, just call the cops. They'll keep you on the line. Just follow them. Just stay a safe distance away. Usually, if you're downtown within minutes, less than 2 minutes, I bet you'd have a car over there. And then you just peel off and bring your passenger.
Go on your way.
Go on your way. So if you ever have that happen again, and, I won't do it with a passenger in their car. I mean, I guess I could ask their permission because I try not. I mean, I don't touch once in a blue moon, I'll touch my phone while I have a passenger in there. I mean, obviously. I don't do it when, I mean, come on. But, yeah, that's what I would do. Just call the cops and just follow them. I've done it. So
I always wondered, and I was going to put it in a group, but I was telling him, I don't like posting in a group anymore.
Why?
There's some snarky people.
There are.
And I don't like it. Like, I posted something that happened to me. He was like, it didn't happen if you don't have pictures. Like, what do you mean it didn't happen?
Sounds like something Nick would say.
Right. Well, you are bright, and I mean, I picked up on. That's one of the reasons. Not that I didn't ask you first. I don't want you to feel bad, but we had someone lined up for a while. Mm-hmm. But the reason I messaged you is because I can tell that you're bright, and don't worry about those snarky people. I beat that out. Damn it.
You're just saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's see. What time was that at? It's at 1:22. Remember that. It's just so dumb sometimes what people post on there. And I was snarky. But I switched my tune. I started trying to be more helpful and stuff like that. Because it just was so frustrating. Some of the same things get posted, and you're just like...
But some people, they got to realize that, like, they're maybe just coming to the group.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Somebody just posted something about something shipped. So somebody was like, hey, this was already in the group. Just put it up here.
Yeah, the search bar.
Yeah. But if you're new, you wouldn't know. And I had posted something about car seats. And because it was, I kept seeing stuff about it. So I was like, hey, guys, and they were like, it's the law. I'm like, I get that. But like, how do you handle it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just like, hey, do you have any experience? Like, I just wanted to hear other people. But people were just, like, this is stupid and this. And I just deleted the whole post. Listen, okay? I'm not going to act up in this group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. And it deterred me from even wanting to post. Like, that fire, that was me. So I dropped that lady off. It was a fire on College Street a couple weeks ago, and it was my rider's house.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So when I put it up, I almost didn't even put it up because I didn't want to.
You can block those people.
Oh, I actually had blocked a few people in that group.
Yeah, and then you don't see it. Then you don't see them, and when they can be snarky all they want, you just don't even see it.
But I not even took a picture when I got around to the other side or whatever, because I'm just like, they're gonna be like, oh no, you're lying. I'm like, why would you post in here? I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, we are adults, but sometimes it doesn't. People aren't adults, but yeah, there are a select few in there that I just kind of roll my eyes. And
one of my favorite people. What is his name? Is it Tony? Start with the last name with a D. The one that just had his 3,000th ride.
Yeah.
That was dope.
That
Yeah.
was amazing.
That's what
Props
I'm
to
talking about.
Tony.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That's what I'm talking about. That's customer service, and that was just wonderful, and that made their night. That's something they will remember. That's a story I would hear in my car.
right, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Did you see his video?
I didn't watch it.
It was so good.
So I, you know, a lot of times when you're looking at stuff, you're like, you can't play audio because
Yeah.
you're wherever you are. And that was one of those times. But I did see him post a video. So what was the gist of it?
So it was his 3,000th ride.
Right.
So everybody gets in the car. He turns the light on, puts his phone on, but puts it like selfie style. And then people in the back were like, "Are you recording? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, is so-and-so in the car?" And she pipes up in the back seat, "Yeah, that's me."
So they're getting all awkward or
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
Like, and I'm watching thinking, what is he doing?
right.
But he did it so well. He was like, "Well, you actually happen." No, he said, "Go to your Uber app and look at my profile. Tell me, what do you see?" And so she goes and looks at his profile and she goes, 2,990. Am I your 3,000th rider? And he goes, "You are. Congratulations." And he pulls out like a $40 gift card and hands it to him.
Oh, okay.
And hands it to her. So she got an Outback gift card
That's cool.
because and then at the end of the video, he's like, "I've been waiting all night to do this."
Ah!
So
That's super cool. I'll have to go in and watch it.
just a great guy. I
Oh.
mean,
Yeah, I don't know him other than he didn't post much in there.
he doesn't, but the stuff that he does post, he's one of those nicer, easier to get along
That's
with kind of
super cool.
guys.
He actually friended me.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Cool.
so, yeah.
And he drives in GR here?
He does. Yep.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, that would be, I don't even know. I mean, that probably takes some, you can kind of figure out what it is, but I mean, it does take some thought
Yeah.
to figure out. Usually I'm so busy, I don't know which way is up. So good for him. What do we got? Well, this is 3 Uber ones. This one I posted. So this guy, this is more of a, so this guy took a Lyft from Brooklyn to Pennsylvania or something like that. So it was 2.5 hours and he passed out and it was like a $250 ride. And he put the wrong address in and he was pissed about it. And basically what he was from, he put his home address in. He was out with his buddies and they were just going to another bar, but he passed out. So the driver took him to where he was supposed to go.
Boy,
He's super pissed.
Oh,
and I'm just like, the driver did what he was supposed to do. I mean, I would do that.
Okay, so did he verify the address when he got in though?
I don't know about that.
Because if you would have did that, you would have caught it.
True.
Yeah. I do that every ride.
Do you?
Yeah. I'd say the app says you're going to XYZ
I
address.
do it a lot of times, but I wouldn't say that's my hard and fast rule.
Oh, man. It's just a habit. I've done it ever since I started. Just confirm. Because I don't want to be wasting my time or their time.
I
if
typically
it's
do
wrong.
if it's a business.
Sure.
I confirm, or a hotel, because some of these hotels have multiple locations. There's one on Walker, or one in Walker that I don't remember the name of it.
Baymont.
Is it Baymont? Because there's one on 28th Street by the
Yep.
airport, and I've had that before I started driving that way. But for a home address, I typically don't confirm.
Yeah.
Unless,
So with the hotel, I did a ride to the Baymont in Walker. We get to the hotel in Walker, and they're like, "Oh no, we put in the wrong Baymont. We're supposed to be in the Baymont by the airport." It's like, all right,
Good
well,
for you.
here we go.
so, do you confirm the address every time?
No.
Thank you.
And I just said it, but no. I'm like you though. If it's something weird, or sometimes you know how it gives us the ranges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the actual.
Oh, for sure.
I'm really confirming. And then when I get closer to where I'm going, I live off of 28th Street. So if I'm on 28th Street and I'm approaching the strip mall or strip or a mall or something, I'm just going to ask you, which one of these are you going to?
Yeah.
I'm not going to guess. I'm not about to look. You're going to JCPenney's or you're going to this
Oh, for
paying
sure.
for sale? Sure. That's where you're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
When I get closer, but sometimes I don't know that address. It's just a random address. I don't know if it's a business or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's probably a good habit to get into.
I know.
just
I
to
don't
make
feel
sure.
bad.
Don't feel bad. I mean, it's just...
That's what we do. We share best practices and learn
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah.
So I might start putting some pampering items in my car thanks to you.
Even if you go, I went to the dollar store and I literally just got the little thing of cups. And I got 2 cups. Well, it's more cups. I got 2 cups and I got bags of dollar. They have a whole roll of candy that's $1. And literally, I'm telling you, the mints do it. And you just put it right in your thing, and they like, oh, thank you, this for me, and they eating it up and all that.
You
stuff.
find a lot of trash in your car though.
A lot of people take it. I'm like 90% of the people take it with them.
That's pretty.
But
good.
I check my car every ride.
I don't do that. I probably should.
I had somebody leave a jacket, so
yeah.
I'm glad that I
Well,
did.
it's nice you have. What do you drive? We didn't even ask.
2014 Nissan Altima
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So you just have that back seat, right?
in the front, but yeah, just
But
the
I
one
mean,
back seat.
but yeah, see, we drive XL, so we got the 3rd row. I couldn't see. I would have to get out every single time.
Yeah.
I pull over.
Do you really?
I just get away from them so they don't think I'm creepy. I might go around the corner.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I'll get out the car. Even if I have another ride, I just take a second, get out the car. I look, make sure they didn't have trash, make sure they didn't leave anything. I get right back in the car.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I had somebody. I learned the hard way. I took a student from the airport to the Christmas break. Airport to the GVSU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man left some Beats headphones. They were all black. I have all black interior, and it was 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I contacted the Uber. They though gave him my real number to call me.
Yeah, it's interesting. They'll ask. I've had that before. They'll ask you to reach out, and then if you don't, or if you're in bed, you know what I mean, and they keep contacting Uber will give them your real number, which is BS.
They did. They didn't call me until the next morning though.
At least for that.
And I actually just took them out there.
Did you?
I mean, that was my fault. I usually check, and that
Not
literally
your
was
fault.
well. But for me, that is my practice. But I
True.
was tired. I was mad that I had to take that because it didn't tell me. It didn't tell me nothing.
Sure.
And it was bad out, and I just really wanted to go home. And that for me, I had to chop that up for me. So that's why I just took it out there.
I mean, that's fair. But it's his responsibility to remember
he had
his
so
stuff.
much crap.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally was coming. He actually was an international student,
Oh wow.
so he had like luggage, duffel bags. He had a bunch of
Goodness.
stuff. So I kind of felt bad. I mean, he's a student.
That's nice. You're nicer than me. Not gonna lie.
I had one guy recently who left his North Face jacket in my car,
Oh, that was weird.
and he was hot about getting it back. He's
This
like
is like 3 a.m,
3 a.m,
and he's calling.
Yeah, he is calling me repeatedly.
Well, it was his last ride, so they're supposed to disconnect after 15 minutes. That's
They
bull
didn't.
crap.
It certainly
It
didn't.
doesn't. I've been on other Lyft rides and got the passenger before calling in.
Yep.
So they say they disconnect, but they don't.
So I don't know. He must have had a wedding ring in that jacket or
Drugs.
or something. Because he was like, I have to have that jacket tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to bed. Like, I am in my pajamas and I am not leaving my house. So maybe this is a bad judgment call on my part, but I gave him my address. And I said, it'll be on the storm door. Just come get it. Like,
I gave him crap for it. I wouldn't have done that.
Absolutely not.
But
hey, I guess that was just me. I didn't want to mess with it, but I did charge him for it because Lyft lets you bill what you can do, like 10, 5, 10, or 20 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not a set amount. They leave it up to you,
Wait,
to a max.
But he came and got his own jacket. You didn't even take it to him.
Well,
You charged him still
hey, he had to.
I charged him not the full amount that I could have, but
He had to
for
get
the inconvenience.
for the
He had to get
inconvenience.
off the toilet. No, for the inconvenience of calling his house while his wife and kids are sleeping, and he's trying. I mean, I would have done it too. I'd have been pissed. I may have not have in the morning. I'm like, dude, if you want, I'll be up around 10. If you want to swing by around 10, pick it up.
Yeah.
But if I left my house, see, as I said, you're super sweet. I mean, I'm not giving you a hard time for it, but I wouldn't have done that personally.
And I figure this guy gave me his address. I dropped him off.
True.
So I know where he
And
lives. He knows where I live. It was just kind of common
demeanor must have
courtesy.
been somewhat okay on the phone.
He was fine. He was
He's
just
adamant about getting
he
it
had to
back.
get his jacket back.
Something's going
I didn't
on.
ask any
Yeah.
questions.
Good call. So, well, we'll wrap it up. The last thing, and this is there wasn't a lot of trending. I don't really want to super get into all the gun stuff. That's just whatever. It is what it is with the shootings. But so Ben Carson, he had these plans to cut all this HUD and programs for the elderly and poor and everything. I don't know if you guys know this story, but
talking about the dining room table.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
$31,000 on a new dining room set, and I'm just like, I liked Ben Carson too. Like, I thought he would have been a great president, but this kind of shows, man. It's just those politicians, like,
they say one thing,
I know,
and then their personal life, it's completely different.
When is it ever going to change?
Yeah.
I mean, I had high hopes for him, but I just thought that was kind of funny. I don't know what you think about that, but
So my last job, I was a night auditor for the Hilton Garden Inn on Beltline, and we are required to have the news on. We had there's I don't know, it was like 17, 18, 20 TVs or something like that in the lobby.
oh,
And you had 3 satellites, so
so
one of
different
them,
channel on each.
and since I had the morning people, because I didn't get off to 7, I would make sure it's like on CNN, different
Yeah.
things like that. And so it forced me to have to,
Yeah.
So, but I have them on mute, but I can still read them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just over it. I don't even care because
Yeah.
it's like, it just makes me upset no matter what.
Well, the problem is, with the news in general, I stopped watching it. So I get my news on Twitter and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so I follow the people I want to follow,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. And then I can read if I want to read it. Like when you watch the news, like it bombards you with all this terrible stuff. And you kind of, other than turning it off, you watch it. But at least on Facebook or Twitter, you can click on the link if you want to read it. But what I was going to say is, like, who do you even believe now?
Yeah.
CNN, Fox News, like, they're all...
Everybody has an agenda. So
Yes.
for me, that's why I said, unless it's something major like right now, and
Right.
but other than that, I don't fool with it. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, because even watching the news is depressing.
Well, I actually have a 21-year-old son. So I always tell him, and about voting and stuff. I said, don't worry about voting for the president. That's not that big of a deal. Vote for your local elections.
Local.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to affect you more than Donald Trump or
Yeah.
Obama or whatever. I mean, they do make some changes, but I mean, let's face it, it's all the local stuff. Your governor, the state you live in. So, but anyway. All right, this is like our longest podcast
I know,
ever.
man.
This is like a record. I think we're at like 136. So
Wow.
I appreciate you coming on. Do you have any other questions for us? Like,
I did, but my attention span is short.
no, you did well.
I can't remember the question.
You can't remember it? So,
Oh.
Oh.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
Not a fan.
So I didn't say it earlier when you were talking about, but I actually drive for Grubhub. And I haven't done it in a while, but basically the bottom line, the difference between Grubhub and Uber is when Grubhub, you get a ping, you know exactly how much you're going to make. So it comes up, the tips included, your base fare and the mileage. So it comes up as, I'm going to make $12 on this ride. Okay, I'll take it. But with Uber,
You have no idea.
yeah, and it's all how the company asks for the tip. Grubhub asks before you check out, do you want to tip your driver?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do that. You tip after.
Yep.
So 98% of Grubhubs, there's tips on there. So basically, I will Grubhub and I won't do Uber Eats because I see, why would I get out of my car if I'm going to drive somebody a short run? What effort do I have into it? Nothing, right?
You drive.
Like, you drive. You turn your blinker on a couple times. If I'm going to make the same amount and take me 20 minutes and I got to get out of my car and go inside and deal with some manager that hates her life and then go over and jump over snow piles and then I get $3 or $5 or whatever,
Yeah.
won't do it. Did one just to try it out when it came live, and I walked in it was actually Brick and Porter, and I walked in there and they're like, yeah, we're not cooking anymore. I'm like, peace, cancellation, boom. Took it off
Done.
my app and never did it again.
I did one. It was from Mena's Joint, and I delivered to Lucifer.
Oh, that's right. That was his name. That's
his name.
That's another topic. I think they can put their own names on there.
I had
It's
somebody
dumb.
named Fitness the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid. Like, put your real name and real picture on there. We have
Right.
to. So,
Yeah. So I did it once. It was from Mena's Joint down to Wyoming, which was a decent run. But again, I had to park, which is a nightmare at
yeah.
like 1:30 in the morning. So I had to park, and then I had to go get the food. The gal I talked with at the counter, she was brand new to Uber Eats. She didn't know what it was or how to work it. She's like, I think it's this one here. And finally get the food, get back in the car, drive it to the guy's house, get out. It's icy on the driveway.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more work involved. Not that I'm lazy and don't want to do it, but you're going to have to pay me.
Yeah, and it's like, you could have come outside to get your food, but I have to go to your door. This is really awkward.
Yeah, and think about it, too. You know, a lot of Uber Eats is McDonald's. Like Grubhub, you got like Bravo, P.F. Chang's.
Yeah.
You got some high-end stuff. So you get like, I mean, I've gotten $30, $40 runs from those restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Man. Okay, so I thought Uber Eats was cool. I had signed up for Grubhub, never delivered for them.
Okay.
So I was like, today I'm just gonna do Uber Eats. So I turned off, Uber X. So I did deliveries all day, and that was the day I got 2 tickets, by the way. Brick and Porter.
Yeah.
There you
there's
go.
No place to park over there.
I'm sorry, and I was a ninja. I was great. I literally ran. You should see me running to the restaurant. They had it ready. I got back. Stupid ticket ninja got me. And but for me, Uber Eats. So I had them both on, and I went to my drop off was Franklin and Eastern, and it came up, and I didn't pay attention to the address. McDonald's came up. I'm like, oh, this must be the one on Hall.
Oops.
Guess where it was?
I don't know.
Alpine.
Oh no!
They ordered on Alpine for Franklin and Eastern?
No, that's where my drop off was, and I got the request to go all the way to the McDonald's.
Yeah.
So you just saw McDonald's and
just thought
right, but when it went to make me go right instead of left, I'm thinking I'm going to Hall. I was like, shut up. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to Michigan. I looked, I was like, shut your face. So
I would have canceled it.
And I should have, but I love having 100% acceptance rate.
Look at you.
And
man, I don't.
I took it. I'm an expressway queen, so I got on expressway and I got there. Now this is what made me mad. When I got there, they were dogging me because I wasn't there yet. So I walk in and I didn't have an Uber shirt yet. So I just walk in. They don't know if I'm the Uber driver or a customer.
Right.
And they was like, what's taking her so long? This and that. I was like, excuse me? Do you know where I came from? Listen.
Let me tell you my life story.
I'm like, first of all, you don't know where they're coming from. Second of all, you shouldn't have the food ready anyway. The food should be getting done when I get here.
Yeah.
Like, that don't make any sense. This food is trash. So you need to have this, do this when I get here.
Right.
You have this ready sitting on the counter and you wonder where I'm at. You need to do all of that all over again because ain't no way in the world it took me 10, 15 minutes to get here and you just got this sitting here.
Right. And then they're 10, 15 minutes back. So.
And it was a manager and a crew. And I'm like, I'm not taking this. Redo it. And they redid it. And I only took it literally around the corner. I was so mad. And I told the guy, I had to make this fresh. And he tipped me $10. But I'm like, you watch that because they were going to just give it to me. They made it right away and just had to sit there.
Yeah. I mean, run into that a little bit with Grubhub, but most of the restaurants were actually didn't make it. Like I had a guy on, what's it called? Wing Avenue. Yeah. Down there. What?
No, they're terrible.
Oh,
Do they do Uber Eats? 'Cause
Yes.
They did Grubhub.
Oh my God. I had 2 out of there. I thought it was a glitch.
Yeah.
I literally did. I accepted. I'm like, well, I got one. And I did it again. And I went in there. She was like, I got the 2 for you. For who? I got 2?
Yeah.
I sat there for 30 minutes.
oh no.
No lie.
Yeah, because the owner won't make the food. Like, I had a relationship with him, so when I would get a request for there, I would call him and say, hey, I'll be there in 10 minutes. He wouldn't make it until you got there because he wanted to deliver a good product. So I respect that, but like I said, if you got 2 orders, you're sitting there waiting.
30 minutes. I watched the whole Judge show.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it was a double one. And that was my first one where it was a multiple order.
Yeah.
I had to take it to one. And then I had to take it to another.
Yeah.
I mean, you talking about over an hour for this one order, and you know I did not get paid like that.
Oh,
Right. And that's why I won't do them.
Nope.
It's just riding or driving people around is the easiest thing you can do. I mean, it can be stressful when there's traffic, but why would I make the same amount of money to get out of my car and go inside?
I have a question for you guys, and I know we got to wrap up. So I kind of refuse to drive during rush hour.
Yeah, I mean, I typically don't. It's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
You make no money.
Because I know it's surging like crazy, but my thing is, I'm so worried about the traffic.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, even if it is surging, you're not going to make that much because you're going to. I mean, unless it's like bananas, like a 6 times. But where do you make your most money on distance? Not sitting in traffic, and it's stressful.
It's very stressful
because you want to get the passenger to where they need to be. But I've had that issue with like airport runs right around. Like I'd get out of work at 5, and I work down southeast Kent County, like 84th Street in Eastern. So I get on M6 and get over there, and I pick up someone up from the airport, and then we sit in traffic on 96 for 25 minutes. So I typically don't like to drive during rush hour. Now, mornings aren't so bad. I feel like it's not as congested in the morning. Might be busy, but I feel like everything seems to flow. But at like 5:30, it's like a show. So
I live right off of 131. So when I go to take my kids to school, 131 northbound is jammed.
Oh, I
in
bet.
the morning.
Yep. And we talking about between 7 and 8.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I've driven early in the morning. I haven't really experienced that, but I'm not driving at 8. I would get up at like 5 and drive for like 2 or 3 hours. But
yeah, I won't even come out till like 9, 10 o'clock now because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for the passenger in a way. I mean, you know what time you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, they get it. Most people, I'm sure, are fine with it. They understand it.
I had one navigation issue that they complained on me about.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, like, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know where you live. And that's fine. I know the city. I've been here since 91, but you don't know all of these parts. And just because you put the address in don't mean I know where it's at.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Plainfield area. Get out of here.
That's where he
That's
lives.
Hudsonville, like, you know it. But, like, I know Kenwood. I know Wyoming. I know all of that stuff. Great. Like, back of my hand, all the back streets, I can whip it, you know?
Yeah.
Put Plainfield and 5 Mile, and you're like, I'm in a different, been out here 8 times or whatever it is.
Chicago Drive, Hudsonville, Rockford. Listen.
Yeah, I grew up in Jenison, so I know Hudsonville, Jenison. Obviously, I live in Granville. I know pretty much quite a bit from 131 this way. And I do a little bit of Kentwood because we do a lot of work in that area, but Plainfield area, not so much. I'm not very good on that area, so
I rely heavily on that. The GPS.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening?
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate
this
it.
was exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you were able to come and willing and feel that you're going to walk out of here in one piece. All right, we'll stop it there. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I went a little longer than normal, but that's okay. Real quick, Facebook, Twitter, GR Rideshare, and YouTube, GR Rideshare Adventures. And the Patreon account is patron.podbean.com/GR Rideshare. That's patron.podbean.com, GR Rideshare. Appreciate your support. Again, share our videos, share our podcast with someone that might be interested in rideshare driving. We have fun. We, don't always stay on topic, but, that's the part of the podcast that I love the most is getting off topic. So thanks again for listening. Have a great day.